So let me tell you how carnivore and keto and counting calories saved my life and my body parts. Hello, welcome to my channel. I've lost 180 pounds with keto, carnivore, and counting calories. Thank you for watching. Hello, I'm going to give you my more current weight loss story and let you know kind of what keto and low carb and calorie counting and carnivore, what all it has done for my body. So in 2017, I realized that I needed to lose some weight. So I found low carb, high fat, and I lost 45 pounds. Then I had an ovary removed in 2018. I fell and broke my ankle. I had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands. So things just got out of whack. So fast forward it to 2020. So what I did, I started binging. I returned to my binges. My binges would be on the weekend. I would have 2 or 3 family-sized bags of tortilla chips. I would have a big tub of sour cream, a big jar of salsa. I would have a couple cans of Pringles. I would have 3 family pack of candy, along with a couple bags, family-sized bags of Doritos. And that would just be one weekend. Like I'd pick it up on Friday and it would be gone by Sunday afternoon. Every evening on my drive home from work, I would stop at Burger King and I would get 1 or 2 value meals, and shakes, and so all of the things that, somebody who is obese eats. So that was where I was at. At night, I wore CPAP. I had high blood pressure. I had depression. I had heartburn all the time. So I was on a lot of medications. And so I knew that was not healthy, but I didn't care. And so at nighttime, because I couldn't breathe, I ended up taking a diuretic to help flush out all of as much of the fluid as possible. So then that way I could breathe. And so that's how I was living. Go eat junk food, come home, take a diuretic every night just so I could breathe. And so that was my life. So fast forward to August of 2019, I was like, all right, I got to do something again. I was at rock bottom. I was in a lot of pain. When I walked, I hobbled. My knees hurt. My hips hurt. I was just in constant pain. And so along with all the other health issues, I knew that I was a ticking time bomb. I was pre-diabetic. I was on metformin. And I knew that diabetes ran in my family as far as like the older generations. And so I knew that my future was going to be getting toes cut off, getting fingers cut off, losing my ability to walk and to move. So it was August 4th, 2019, I decided to go on keto. And I spent those 2 months just learning about keto. What I did was I joined a website, and it allowed me to build menus and meals. And so I would make 1 meal at night and then 2 meals worth. And then the next day I'd have it for lunch. And so that was dietdoctor.com. So that's what I spent my first 2 months on, learning how to cook. And in those first 2 months, I lost 26 pounds. And as anybody who does weight loss and knows anything, those 26 pounds, probably a good 15, 17 pounds of it was water, which is okay. So it got my brain in the mode of losing weight. And while I was eating that way, I watched channels on YouTube. One was Allie McWowie, and the other one was Cooking Keto with Christy. And they were very, very beneficial. It was teaching me about keto and watching other people who are losing weight on keto. But also in that meantime, I was watching some other channels. So I started hearing about carnivore. I started hearing about the benefits of eating just meat. And I started watching channels like Sean Baker, Nisha Loves It, Laura Spath, Dr. Ken Berry, Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson, and My Zero Carb Life. So those channels were geared towards carnivore. I don't like to cook every night. So the thought of eating just meat that I could that I could prepare on the weekends and just warm it up in the microwave, that appealed to me much more than what I was doing by cooking supper every night and then carrying it over to lunch the next day. So what I did was I joined a Facebook group called Zeroing In on Health, and I read and I watched and I learned and I listened, and October 28th, I went full on carnivore. That was October 28th of 2019, right? Yeah, October 28th of 2019. So 2 months later, I went full on carnivore. And I had my coffee in the morning, and I had a pound of meat for lunch and a pound of meat for supper. I was throwing in some of the MCT oils and just random things. And as of November, from October to November 23rd, I had lost a total of 34 pounds. And in November, I began to notice no more blood sugar drops. I was breathing better, more from the stomach. Even though I was still using my CPAP, I was not breathing from my chest. I was able to breathe from my stomach and take good deep breaths. I was not hungry. Gas was really rare. I had no more cravings. So between August through November, I had weaned off of all of the processed foods, and I had no more cravings. And then by February of 2020, I was down 50 pounds. And then by July of 2020, I was down 70 pounds. So then fast forward to January of 2021, I was down 90 pounds total, 64 from carnivore. I no longer craved bacon. These are just things I wrote down as the time goes. You kind of journal for yourself so you can remember these things. I no longer craved bacon. I preferred eating burgers and occasionally deep fried chicken thighs with no batter, of course. I did deep fried pork steaks. So my physical improvements were no more blood sugar drops, better breathing, very minimal swelling in my legs, less aches and pains when I stand and walk, no more antidepressants, still rare gas. My eyes were not chronically dry anymore. I didn't have to think and focus on what am I going to eat tomorrow? What am I going to eat the next day? So it allowed more brain space to think about other things. There was just minimal decisions about what I wanted to do. But my body was healing, and I was feeling so much better. And so like I said, I had lost 90 pounds by then. So, but between January 2021 through July 2021, I stalled. I stalled that whole time. But again, I maintained, I was in that Facebook group, and there were people who had done carnivore that stalled for years. And I was not that patient. It was not going to be me waiting 2 or 3 years. And looking back, had I said, okay, instead of 2 pounds a day, why don't I do 10 ounces twice a day. I didn't have that mental capacity to just decrease the amount of meat I was eating. I don't know why, but I couldn't. I hung on to the fact that other carnivore people, they were doing about 10 pounds of meat a day, or 2 pounds of meat a day. I need to do 2 pounds of meat a day. So I held on to that, thinking that was what was going to get me there. But whenever I look back, 2 pounds of meat a day, that was 2,200 calories because it was fatty meat. And I was adding extra fat here and there. So I was not doing things that were really promoting weight loss after 2 years. So then I, was watching Dr. Barry and Nisha, and they had a friend named Kim Howerton. I'm like, this lady is keto, and she's their friend. And so she might know a little thing or two. So I started watching her on YouTube, and she talked about counting calories. So Allie McWowie, she also talked about counting calories, but at that time I was not in the right headspace to even think about counting calories. I just wanted a quick fix, and I didn't care about the fine-tuning things. So I was not ready in that moment to accept all the things that Allie McWowie was saying. But by the time I had cleared my brain, so carnivore really cleared my brain. My coworkers would recognize when I had eaten bad versus when I was eating clean. They would say that I would act drunk. They said that I was more giddy and high, just high anxiousness, and wasn't making good decisions for the team. And so they could always tell whenever when I was not eating correctly. So 2 years of eating correctly, it cleared my brain out from all of that processed junk stuff, because I ate clean. I bought ground beef. I bought pork steaks. The only processed meat that I bought was bacon. I didn't eat the lunch meat. I didn't eat the like the sausages. I didn't eat that stuff because that was really not what was promoted in the Zeroing In on Health group. They were more of a clean, strict carnivore lifestyle, and that's what I needed. So it cleared my head, and I was able to think about, okay, maybe I could count calories. So I started watching Kim Howerton and watched her live. So she goes live every Tuesday. I started watching her live videos, and I would ask questions like, well, now what about this? Well, now what will this do to me? And how about this, that, and the other? And so, sorry, that's my hound in the background. He likes to sing to the neighbors. And so through asking her questions, it helped me learn about myself and what I could do for myself to do better. So starting in August of 2021, I kept 20 carbs, and I started adding in vegetables. I did moderate to low fat, and I started counting calories. So when I say low fat, what I mean is I did like 93% ground beef, and I did ground chicken, and did pork chops. I did the leaner meat because I need to see bulk. I can't handle just seeing a little bitty amount of food on my plate and think that that's enough to sustain me for very long. So I needed to see bulk. So by going to the leaner meats, I was able to do that and keep in my calorie restrictions. So what I did was I said, okay, well, if I'm eating around 2,200 calories a day with my meat on my carnivore diet, maybe I'll drop down to 1,800. And so I dropped down to 1,800 calories, and I started checking out foods, and you can go back on my playlist. You can see exactly what I ate. I started incorporating some cottage cheese, some yogurt. I started incorporating salads. I started doing pickled vegetables. Again, all this whole, each of my journey, my top parts of my journey are included in playlists. So then I started counting calories, and next thing I know, I became my own advocate. And I decided to, okay, I stall right now. If I stall for 3-4 weeks, let's drop it down 100 calories or 200 calories. And the way I did that was, instead of 10 ounces of meat at lunch and supper, let's try 9 ounces of meat at lunch and supper. It was a small enough amount that I didn't notice it and it didn't disturb me. And through the whole thing, I did meal prep every weekend. Once I went carnivore, every weekend I did meal prep. I would go to, we have a local slaughterhouse, and I would go out there and buy ground beef, or I'd go to Walmart and buy my meat. On the weekend, I would do all of my meal prep on the weekend. And then that way, throughout the week, every container had the same weight of food. There was no questioning. There was no decision making. It was grab it, microwave it, eat it. That's it. So I didn't have to count or think whenever I was doing carnivore. And so then whenever I went to calorie counting, I did the same thing. I put it in, all the meat in a containers. And then whenever I had lunch, I would do something like add a salad, and I would weigh out each thing and make sure it was in my calorie range. And then that's what I would eat. So my meat was always the same. And then, like I said, 1,800 calories. I'd hit a stall for 5-6 weeks. All right, let's take off about an ounce off of lunch and supper of meat, or drop my calories to 1,600, 1,700 calories. and go again. And as long as the scale was moving, I was fine. Then it would stall 5 to 6 weeks later, and I'd drop it down again. And so that was how I did it. I had to become my own advocate, because what works for this person and that person is not what works for me. Some people can eat clean keto and get down to 120 pounds. That's not how my brain and my body works. So I had to become my own advocate. And for me and my body, that required counting calories, weighing out portions. That's how it worked for me. So my overall goal was to reach 168 pounds. And what did that mean? I'm 5'4". So 169 pounds, I would no longer be obese. I would just be considered overweight. Well, a coworker I work with that goes to the gym all the time, she's a size 2, but muscular, she's considered overweight. And I'm like, if being 168 pounds puts me in a category as her, I am on board. So I reached, it was a total of 170 pounds that I had lost by November of 2022. So that's when I reached my goal. And so I said, okay, well, let's figure out maintenance. So maintenance, I was able to, what I did was I switched from lean meat to 73%. Now I drain my 73% meat. I don't add that extra fat. And so I do my weights after the meat's cooked. So you do what works best for you. But so I went to 73% because it's cheaper, and then I did my calories and portions based on what that was going to be. So I think it was about 7 ounces maybe, or 8 ounces. And so anyway, so then to maintain, that's what I did. I switched over to 73%. I increased my calories first to 1,800 to see how I was going to do. Because by the time I was getting to my goal, I was around 1,400 calories a day. 1,400, sometimes 1,600. So in that calorie range. So that's, now maintenance, again, I started adding up. So I got to 1,800. I was still losing about a pound or half a pound a week. So then I went up again. So right now I'm anywhere between 18 to 2,200 calories a day. It really varies. I have done some videos of me counting calories at maintenance, and I'm going to do some more of those. But anyway, so that is how I started, where I've come from, and where I'm at now. I'm no longer on blood pressure medicine. I'm no longer on a diuretic. I'm no longer on an antidepressant. I'm no longer on heartburn medication. I no longer have a CPAP. I'm no longer in constant pain. I used to want to sleep. I was so groggy all the time. Now, as soon as the sun's up, my brain's like, beam, okay, let's go. So I have more energy. I have more mental clarity. I mean, I am truly not the person I was 180 pounds ago. I'm not her. I am more happy. I'm more mentally energetic. I still don't go to the gym. Every bit of the 180 pounds that I've lost was done by diet. I know I need to get to the gym, and I will someday. I'm not there yet. But that is my story. And those are the things that I've healed through changing my life and getting off the standard American food pyramid diet. I did not eat fruit during my weight loss phase, but if you watch some of my maintenance videos, you'll see I've added some back because I've healed myself. You know, I had PCOS and was pre-diabetic. I'm no longer on metformin. So I have healed so many things now, and I'm a total different person. And so I'm just amazed at my life right now. And so I even went out and bought a sign that said something to the effect of, okay, I looked it up, and the sign says, I still remember the days I prayed for what I have now. So I remember the days where I was like, I just want to not hurt. I just want to be able to walk across the street and not be in pain. I just want to be able to think about something other than what I'm going to eat in 5 minutes. I just want to be able to shop in a store that's not for plus sizes. I just want to be able to go to a thrift store and buy clothes. I just want to be able to not have to take a diuretic. I just want to be able to not take vitamin B medication. I just want to be able to not take a diuretic. I prayed for all these things that I can say I have now. The only medications I take right now is half of a Zyrtec and magnesium. That's it. That's all I take. And I used to have to do a big box planner full of medications. And that's what I have now. So keto, carnivore, counting calories, all of that has been a part of my weight loss journey. And I am so thankful for that journey. And God has blessed me throughout this whole process. And now I am slowly trying to learn what foods I can add back, what things are too much and pull back from. I still don't do the keto treats. I still don't buy the keto candy. I don't buy the keto snacks. I don't buy those things because I know my Terry self. I am an addict. I'm a food addict. I'm a food binger. And if I bought a box of crackers, keto crackers, I would eat the whole box. So I still have to know myself, and I still have to know my limitations. And that's a limitation for me. So that is my story, and I'm so proud to tell that story. I'm so proud of myself. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out to me, terryleast@gmail.com. If you don't want to make comments here, if you want to reach out to me separately, terryleast@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me. I will happily answer any questions you have.